Hi there, it's Mary Charleson here. Welcome back, 5minutemarketing.com, and some marketing tips for this week. This week, we're going to the Metaverse. No doubt, most of you have heard of Meta, the rebrand announced by Facebook recently, October 28th. I want to talk about that and what it means to your business a little bit today. So as you may have gathered, Facebook has gone through and they're going to be rebranding as Meta. Initially, I kind of thought, oh, this is just like a big rebranding exercise to kind of get themselves out of Dodge. They've been taking a whole lot of grief around kind of the pushback, the whistleblower around what's coming out is them knowing that they had a lot of background data research on how harmful some of the algorithm manipulation has been to us psychologically, how harmful it has been in terms of making divisive content and feeds, and really kind of challenging kind of democratic views and how information has gotten out. So they've taken a lot of heat recently. So it might be easy to dismiss this simply as a PR stunt to rebrand around Meta. But I think that would be dismissing it too quickly. There's a whole lot more going on here. Let's dig in. So Meta is now going to be kind of the parent company. If we think about it as, like Google and Alphabet, right? Because Alphabet's the parent company, Google is a brand within it. Meta is the parent company, and the brands Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, and Messenger will stay as their brands, but they'll be within the Meta kind of family. That's relevant because it shows us kind of where all of this stuff fits in. Now, you might say, well, what is the metaverse? It's cool, maybe, I don't know, or I don't get it. And so as best I can figure at this stage from the explanations and, what I've read about it, they're talking about it being a way to kind of help connect people, find communities, grow business, right? Well, so far that sort of sounds just like Facebook or Instagram. But what they want to do is kind of layer in this whole notion around augmented reality and virtual reality and kind of have that whole collide into kind of like with our social experiences. And so essentially our lives would kind of move into a bit of a virtual world potentially where we're projected into a physical world, think kind of Star Treks and holograms. Or we have an augmented reality world using kind of vision glasses, and they have paired up recently with Ray-Ban, so that's worthy to augment our reality. And so, think walking down the street and being able to, so you're on a historical tour of a city street and you look at a building and all of a sudden it pops up and it tells you some of the history and some things around it. Lots of ways that we could augment our reality as well as creating a virtual space. This is kind of what they're interested in doing. And it sounds a little kind of spacey and, kind of Star Trek-y to me. And some of you may have drawn those parallels as well, right? Remember when, they would kind of beam me up Scotty, right? Like they go and interact in holograms or they interact with others outside of a physical space. I don't think it's a big surprise to many of you, so the parallels between, Data and Meta, right? Remember Data? He was like the computer guy, but he had lacked a lot of emotional intelligence. I'll leave the visuals between Data and Mark Zuckerberg for you, but like it's a little scary in my mind. Disturbing parallel. But let's take a look here from kind of the 30,000 foot level. And it kind of begs the question, okay, do we really need this? And secondly, is Facebook the company that we really want to trust to take us there? That to me is a big piece of this, especially when they're going through so much pushback around how they're using data, our behavioral data, and using that to optimize their advertising space. So, just because they can doesn't mean that we should. I think that's a bigger question. And in the future, it likely will not just be Facebook that's pushing us in this way. There's no way that Google's and Amazon's and Apple are going to sit back and not be interested in this type of interactivity with AR and VR as well. So count on it being some part of our universe, or at least pushing us towards this. It's going to be interesting. So what does this all mean to you as a marketer? And you might be sort of thinking, cool, or like, yeah, kind of cool, or like, I don't get it, right? So let's just kind of noodle on it a little bit and think how we could potentially use this. It potentially means that, we could go into a space where a customer could kind of touch and feel your product, right? Through a virtual reality experience. Potentially a hotel company could, take you through their property, show you the room in a real virtual kind of experience before you actually go there. Augmented reality. As I said, we could be walking down a street, we could do a city tour, we could have, through our vision glasses, it gives us additional information that helps us process some of the historical facts, as an example. And we could take that in a lot of different spaces. There's many really kind of potentially cool applications of this where brands could become a piece of it and really kind of complement our lives here. The concept is actually pretty exciting, but it is a slippery slope. And I think the troubling part for me is to consider kind of the real-time behavioral data, which would be collected and potentially monetized through Facebook, or I guess we should call them through Meta. So, what about your Facebook advertising? Where does this fit in? And so I think it's interesting that there used to be a Facebook for Business page. On October 28th, that changed to Meta for Business. Now, it wasn't like a new page for Meta. It was actually the old Facebook page became Meta for Business. To me, that's telling, because that says that their intention as the family brand is to bring Meta and these AR and VR kind of pieces of it into all of their brands: Facebook, Instagram, Messenger, and Snapchat. So I think what's safe to say here is that we need to kind of watch and keep informed on all of this. Really, the only piece that we know for sure is that it's highly likely that we're not going to be able to continue doing things the same way that we always have. Whether we need to go into the meta universe or not, time will tell, but I think it's a space worth watching and keeping up. That's all I've got for you this week. Thanks for checking in on 5minutemarketing.com tips. We'll see you in the next video.